So I've just started intermittent fasting again for the first time in about 2 years, and in this video I'm going to tell you why this nutritional approach above all others is the one that keeps pulling me back in.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Now I've been utilizing intermittent fasting on and off for about 9 years now, which is a bit crazy actually, because I still remember the first day I ever fasted, going into the convenience store in Korea in the morning. The kind old man who used to work there said to me, "Usual Bobby, protein shake and a banana." And I said, "Not today, old man." Handed him a can of 0 sugar Red Bull. And that pretty much became my new morning routine around that time in my first ever fast, which I think leads nicely into my first major pro of fasting itself. Because despite all of the information that's out there, the scientific jargon, feeding windows, ketosis, improved brain function, etc, 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 when you first start fasting, I think it's best to just keep it all simple, push all of that, all those benefits aside, and just think of it like this. I'm gonna skip breakfast for a while. Because geezers, I have been down the fasting rabbit hole before. I have tried all sorts of different approaches, different specific approaches. What I've found, the conclusion I've come to is that, to be honest, as long as you can hold off your first meal until about lunchtime, and then you don't overcompensate for that later in the day. For 90% of people who are just looking to maybe lose some weight or work on their body composition, that is going to be enough. You don't need to overcomplicate things. You don't need to make things purposely unenjoyable. Just use a little bit of caffeine to get you through the morning, and once you get through to lunchtime successfully, from there you're pretty much good to go for the rest of the day. Let's talk about calories, and again guys, you're gonna want to keep this nice and simple. To be honest, that's how I like to keep this channel nice and simple, not because you, my loyal viewers, are stupid.
That's a stupid decision. That can only be made by a stupid idiot.
But because if I start throwing out a load of fitness-specific jargon, a load of scientific jargon that you don't understand, if you're coming to a topic for the first time and then you have to go away and do research to understand what I'm actually talking about, and what's the point? I'm just gonna lose your interest, it's gonna be off-putting, you ain't gonna watch this video all the way through. So let's keep it simple and to the point. Start thinking about your calories much in the same way you would think about a daily monetary allowance. Let's say you wake up every day on a holiday, a trip, and you've got $100 a day, £100 a day to spend. If you go for breakfast and immediately spend 15, 20, 30 pounds on breakfast alone, suddenly you've only got £70, $70 to last you for the rest of the day. The same concepts apply to your calories. If you can save those calories, if you can not use those calories first thing in the day, i.e. breakfast, then you can enjoy more later in the day. So if I'm working with a, let's say, 2,000 calorie daily allowance, I could get up and I could have a 500 calorie breakfast, but then I have to think that's 1,500 calories for dinner, lunch, snacks, post-workout nutrition, etc, etc, etc. I'm gonna have to start being more considered, I'm gonna have to start being more strategic. But if I can save those breakfast calories till later in the day, when I come to start eating, let's say at lunchtime, when I break my fast, when I have my first meal, I'm gonna still have my full calorie allowance available to me. And what that means is that I can start enjoying bigger, more filling meals. I can be more flexible. I can maybe introduce a chocolate bar later on in the day without having to feel like this.
What have I done?
Now just a little side note here guys, and this is really important. Intermittent fasting is simply a way of setting up your calories. There's many ways of doing it, it is just one option. Crappy calories don't suddenly become good calories just because you are intermittent fasting. You still need to think about your macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, your carbohydrates. If your goal is weight loss, you will still need to implement a calorie deficit. There's no way around that. But what it means is that if you can get yourself through the morning, maybe you're not going to be feeling it as much later on when you eat lunch or dinner. It isn't a cheat code to get away with a crappy diet, but it does mean maybe you can have some crappy food more often. Now geezers, it is not all good news, and as your new fitness hero, I think it is my responsibility to tell you about one of the biggest cons of intermittent fasting. And that con is intermittent fasting could actually be the worst idea possible for you, depending on your current lifestyle and your current daily schedule. Let me explain. If you have an active job, if you are on your feet all day, if you are lifting things, manual work, if you are traveling around a lot, if you are not sat at a desk, intermittent fasting might not be for you, and here's why. Getting through that morning on an empty stomach, just relying on caffeine but not being able to eat until 1, 2 o'clock, it's not easy, especially in that first adaptation period. Anybody who's fasted for a prolonged period of time will tell you that eventually your body does adapt, you do get used to it. But what if at that point it's too late? Here's the worst thing that could happen. What if you are struggling with that adaptation period so much, you're actually able to get through the mornings, no problems. You get through to lunchtime and you eat your lunch. But then later in the day, that's when it catches up with you. What if you just completely fall off the wagon? What if when you are going to sleep at night, you can't properly relax, you can't shut down, end up getting up, go into the fridge, and then you undo all the good work that you have done that day? If that happens once or it happens twice, it might not be a big deal. But if you find yourself in a routine at nighttime of feeling agitated, feeling resentful about the fact that your feeding window has closed and you are not scheduled to eat again until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock the next day because you know you've got a busy morning ahead of you, then maybe intermittent fasting is not the best choice for you. There are plenty of other nutritional approaches out there. Do not worry. The truth is, guys, that it might sound a little bit cliche, a little bit cheesy, but the best nutritional approach for you, guaranteed, I'm going to tell you right now, for you, is the one that you can stick to. If intermittent fasting sounds like it might be appealing to you, give it a try. If it works for you, keep going, enjoy it. Do a bit more research, find out some more information, try different methods because there's different ways to fast. But if the thought of going through the entire morning without eating, of having to wait until lunchtime just to get your first bit of food sounds like hell on earth itself, skip it. Try something else. Now, this has been a simple, to the point video, guys. Intermittent fasting is top and does work great for certain people. There are so many other benefits. Some of them are simple. You give your digestive system a break, and to be honest, I feel lighter when I'm fasting. If you are new to intermittent fasting, if this is your first time trying it, if you are watching this video, seeing these abs and thinking, I want a piece of that, start off by skipping breakfast. Do not undo all that good work later in the day. Do not let yourself fall off the wagon. Subscribe to this channel, write a nice comment down below, and you are gonna feel the benefits. I promise you, if you stick to it for at least a month, you'll start to notice some changes, maybe not aesthetically, maybe not physically, but certainly mentally, and certainly internally. So give it a go, geezers. I hope it works for you, and if not, do not worry. Watch. I'm gonna try something new. Watch this video instead, because there are a lot of other diets that have worked for me, not just intermittent fasting, and I'm gonna talk about them here. Like, subscribe, comment. Until the next one, guys, have a great day. Bye bye.